Thank you for joining us at the Lincoln Experience Center for this very exclusive Lincoln Online event where we will hear from local sports anchor Babe Laufenberg and the newest member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Mr. Drew Pearson. I'm Elizabeth Morrow, your Lincoln Experience Center host for this exciting event. A bit about us: we have one location here in Frisco, Texas, and another in Newport Beach, California. The Lincoln Experience Center is a unique place to explore the Lincoln brand in an effortless and luxurious way. Guests visiting our space can learn about the current vehicle lineup in our showroom in person or virtually with our new Lincoln Showcase program. Experience this exclusive at-home virtual vehicle tour using your cell phone or tablet. You will then be connected with a live product specialist who will be able to answer all your questions, explore vehicle features and technology, all from the comfort of your own home. Be sure to check out our website for more information at lincolnexperiencecenter.com. Now for our main event. I am excited and honored to introduce former Dallas Cowboy quarterback, local sports reporter, and current analyst for the Dallas Cowboys radio network, Mr. Babe Laufenberg. He is here to talk with the original 88, Dallas Cowboy, three-time Super Bowl champion, and now our newest member to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Mr. Drew Pearson. So without further ado, please help me welcome Babe and Drew to the Lincoln Experience Center.
Elizabeth, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And Drew, first off, with the COVID world, I've not seen you in person.
Right.
Since you were selected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So An official congratulations.
Thank you, Babe. We've seen each other virtually.
Yes.
But it's good to see you in person, man. You look a lot better in person than you do virtually.
Well, usually it's the opposite. And I have to ask you, before we sat down, we were just talking, and I said, Drew, do you get tired of people saying congratulations? And you said,
No, Babe. It's been a long time coming. I waited 38 years to hear those words. That you've been inducted, but you've been selected to be inducted.
Right.
And that's what I've been wanting to hear. So no. And a lot of people have been on that journey with me. And so when it finally ended with the Hall of Fame, a lot of people were congratulating me and telling me I deserve it and should have been a long time ago.
Well, and I'll second that emotion right there. But were other people more disappointed for you when your name kept not getting called, or were you more disappointed?
That's a good question. Hard to read other people, but their reaction tells me they were very disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone could be as disappointed as I was when I didn't get that name called, because it's like, ugh, somebody punching you in the stomach or something like that. But I always kept the faith, and that's what carried me through. I always believe whatever I go through on the negative side helps me come out on the positive side on the other end. And that's what this has done. It's created so many opportunities for me now. And it's like a good timing because it's at a good point in my life. I can't run any more pass routes or anything like that and do those kind of things to keep the name going and keep it out there and keep Cowboy fans interested in you. So now, I'm going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm a skinny-legged kid from South River, New Jersey, going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And when you think about that, do you wake up every morning and pinch yourself? As you said, it's been 38 years since you've had the opportunity, and every year you keep getting passed over. Do you ever wake up and say, wait a minute, did that really happen?
Yeah, I do, babe.
Yeah.
I do kind of wake up and say, yeah, am I a Hall of Famer? And how should I act today because I'm a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, how does a Hall of Famer walk? How do you buy your groceries?
A little pep in your step, little glide to your stride, and that kind of thing. When I go up to the podium, I'll show you that pep and that glide. But no, it's something that it's really special that you feel. And the thing about it, Babe, as a kid growing up, I never dreamt of being a Hall of Famer. Right. Okay, who dreams of that? All I wanted to do was be a professional athlete. I loved sports as a kid growing up. That's all I cared about. I only did math, reading, and all that other stuff because I had to. But
to stay eligible.
Yeah, my dad wouldn't tolerate otherwise.
Right.
But so all I cared about was sports, and I wanted to be a pro athlete, and I knew it'd be hopefully one day it would be football or baseball.
Yeah.
And I actually thought it would be baseball. But as it turned out to be football.
I had one of my sons, I have two boys, and one of them said, Dad, why would you go to school if you didn't play sports? So, it's funny. They kind of make, even if you're not an athlete, they kind of make those guys go to school too. And there are other reasons why you go to school other than.
Yeah, especially nowadays. You need that. No pass, no play.
Yeah. All right. I want to get back to the Hall of Fame, but let's start at the beginning, at least professionally. Mm-hmm. So 1973 rolls around. You're a professional athlete, fame and fortune. Mm-hmm. Right? So you were drafted in which round in that draft? There were 17 rounds, and then you got, of course, a huge signing bonus. So walk us through all that as a Hall of Famer.
Well, first of all, the things didn't go, thank you. Things didn't go well at Tulsa University. Academically, I got a great education there, and that's what's most important to me now. Because as soon as I open my mouth to speak, people are going to know if I'm educated or not. So that's important. But athletically, things didn't go well. 3 head coaches in 4 years, mm-hmm. 3 losing seasons in 4 years, and 3 years of probation. So you're in that negative kind of environment, you as an individual don't really have a chance to prosper and so show your true talents. So when the NFL draft came, time for the draft, that's back when they had 17 rounds, 450-something players, babe. You mentioned what round did I get drafted in?
Yeah, which round?
I didn't get drafted at all.
Oh, you didn't get drafted.
I think you knew that.
Yeah, I think somebody missed the boat, though, wouldn't you say?
Pardon me?
The way your career turned out.
Yeah.
Don't you want to go back to I think there were 26 teams in the league at the time. Don't you want to go back to the other 25 and say, hey, see what you passed up there?
After, I decided to choose the Dallas Cowboys to sign as a free agent over Pittsburgh and Green Bay, that was my motivation to make the team, to prove people wrong, that I could play. They don't know me. Maybe I didn't have the measurables as far as size, strength, speed, and that type of thing. But if they took the tape measure or the stopwatch and put it around my heart, they would have found the #1 draft pick. And that's what motivated me through the whole process of going through the 2-a-day training camps with all rookies. And then when the veterans come, trying to live to play another day while these guys are going through their paces, because the same guys have been doing it for years and years, and now you're trying to catch up to speed with them. Going through all those kind of things led you to making the Dallas Cowboys and made me not only a better football player in the process, but made me a better person as well.
Now, NFL rosters, training camp, they're limited to, we'll see what happens in our COVID world, but 90 players.
Yeah.
At that time, how many players were in that Dallas Cowboys training camp?
Yeah, there was 100 rookies.
100 rookies. Okay,
they had 17 draft choices,
Yeah.
and the rest were rookie free agents like me. And we all had the dream of playing and one day, being a Dallas Cowboy. So through that first week of rookie camp, Coach Landry put us through the paces of 2-a-days. Each and every day, morning practice, afternoon practice, meetings at night. I mean, it was rigorous. And what he was trying to do is get guys to quit. He wanted to see who can handle this. Because if you could go through that rigorous part of that training camp, then maybe, just maybe, you have a chance to make his football team. And by the end of that week, babe, 100 turned to 50, and most of those guys quit themselves.
And how hard was it, though, to get noticed? It's one thing, again, rookies today, there's 20 maybe in there. 7 to 10 of them are going to be draft picks. They got a good handle on you. When you show up and you're literally just another number. How hard was it for you to get noticed? And again, you'd be the first to say you didn't run 4.340. You weren't that 6'5", 225-pound guy. So how difficult was it for you to get noticed by Coach Landry and the rest of the coaching staff?
Yeah, well, that was the thing you had to do, babe. You had to find something each and every day, whether it be in a meeting or practice or something, to live to play another day. Harvey Martin was my roommate. That was our philosophy, live to play another day. And I don't care if it's answering a question in a meeting or making a block in a scrimmage or catching a pass that they didn't think you might not be able to get, something to get their attention each and every day so that you can live to play another day so you don't hear that knock coming down the hallway.
So the NFL draft took place this past April, and guys talk about getting their mom a car, a house, and what'd you get with your signing bonus?
I got gas for my car.
What was the signing bonus?
My signing bonus, babe, was first of all, my base salary was $14,500. My signing bonus was $150
150,000, 100.
No, not
150.
Not 150 like they get now. 150.00.
And as I understand, it wasn't a check, correct?
No, I asked them to pay me that in cash. I said, Mr. Bob Griffin, I don't know if you remember that name,
I do.
scout for the Cowboys, God rest his soul, but I said, Mr. Griffin, if you pay me that signing bonus in cash, I'll sign right now. And I didn't hold out for $200 or $175. And guess what? He laid out 7 20s and a 10.
Oh, that's great.
And I scooped it up. First of all, I counted it, and that's how I got my signing bonus. Then he asked me, he said, Drew, why do you want that signing bonus in cash? Most people want it in a check so they can, take a picture or, hang it up or frame it. I said, well, I need gas money to get back to the college apartment. So I asked him to pay me in cash. And then we were able to get something to eat for dinner after that as well.
That's great. That's great. Talking about the draft, the first draft took place in 1936. It was held in Philadelphia. There were 9 NFL teams at that time, and there were 9 rounds in the draft. So 81 players were taken in that draft, the first of which was Jay Burwinger, who was the first Heisman Trophy winner out of the University of Chicago. He did not sign, nor did more than half of the other players, because there was no money in professional football. Things have changed a little, haven't they, Drew?
Yeah, they certainly have. And you know why they've changed, Blake? Because we made sacrifices back in the day. And the biggest sacrifice we made was in 1982 when we had the work stoppage. And that was all about getting the respect of the owners to respect the union, and so that we could get a bigger share of the gross revenues. And it did. When you stop them from their money making revenues from coming in, then they take notice to that. And we finally got that worked out, and now these players are getting a greater share of the gross revenues, and it continues to grow because the sport continues to grow. And that's the way it should be, because the players are the product, okay? Mr. Kraft can't sell no cheese unless he has cheese, right? Well, we can't play no football unless we have players out there, and the players are the product.
A necessary evil to some of the owners, I'm assuming. Okay, so Drew, you're involved in 2 of the most famous plays in professional football, and the one play may be the most famous play in professional football. You might say the catch with Franco Harris in 1972, but playoff game in Minnesota, the Hail Mary.
Yes.
A lot of people don't understand or remember, before the Hail Mary, before there could be a Hail Mary, you guys had a 4th and 17.
Yeah.
At your own 25, you had to convert.
Yeah.
And Roger went to you for 22-yard completion.
Yeah.
So you remember that play.
Oh, absolutely. If we don't hit that, there is no
There's
shot
no Hail Mary.
at Hail Mary. And you're going up against a Minnesota Viking team that was a veteran team. They hardly had any rookies, if they had any. I think that maybe one, Chuck Foreman, and you know how good he was, and that's the only way he made that team. But what hurt them was the fact that they were so experienced, okay? Because they did things the same way each and every time, and they relied on experience to make the plays on anticipation and what you were going to do. So we knew that we can run the counter routes on Nate Wright's side. But Roger and I were breaking down that game film. This is the first time he and I got together to watch the coaches' film of that game, because after the game, we went on to the next round of playoffs. We didn't have time to break it down. But on that 4th and 17, babe, before the snap, I did a hitch that should have been called for,
So we should have had a 4th and 22.
And Roger said, hut, and I took off from there, so it never caught. And I didn't know I did that until I saw that film, so I'm giving you a little insight on that.
I'm going to have to go back and look now.
Okay, check that out.
So there's 2 controversies in that game. Did he push off on Nate Wright for the Hail Mary, and did he go early?
Now, if the Viking fans saw that, they would probably lay off me on the push and get on me about that.
So
but it's ironic that happened. So we hit that for 22 yards in the first down.
And then comes the Hail Mary.
Well, next play, we run a swing pass. Because I had no breath. Roger says, Drew, what do you got?
Nothing.
I got no breath, man. I just caught 22 yards first down. So anyway, we run the swing pass, and Preston Pearson stumbled, and in stumbling, he ended up dropping the football. And that turned out to be a blessing. Stop the clock. 28 seconds, we get back to the huddle. Roger says, Drew, what do you got? We said, let's take some shots in the end zone. Again, Nate Wright, turn and take off. Golden Richards run a good post pattern to hold Paul Krause over there. He pumps Paul, brings it back to me, and throws it downfield. I see that's underthrown. Use the swim move. You know about it. You're a quarterback. Receivers like to use to get inside position. You can't do it like this.
Yeah.
You got to do it like that. And so in doing that, bam, there's contact.
Yeah.
We're playing football. This is not tennis.
Yeah, I don't think the Minnesota fans saw it as a swim move. I think they saw it as offensive pass interference.
Well, and coming around, Dave, there's contact.
Yeah.
But we're in our momentum. We're in the playoff game. We're national TV. You know, with that contact, you know, you might go down. And that's what happened with me. And to this day, I say, no push. Touchdown Dallas.
If it wasn't called, it didn't happen, right? Now, that ball is obviously worth millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So do you have it in your trophy case or does Roger have it in his?
Well, neither one of us has it.
What happened to the ball?
Actually, the ball, as far as I know, for years and years, nobody claimed it or brought it to anyone's attention that this was the ball. Now, I've done autograph sessions in Minnesota since then with full security, of course.
Yeah. And 40 balls have showed up as the ball.
You know, first time I go up there, because I used to have a business that operated out of there. First time I go up there, I get ready to hail a cab. It's like freezing outside. And the cab driver recognized me. He says, "You're Drew Pearson, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He said, "You're not riding in this cab." So I had to wait 3 cabs before I could get a ride.
So finally you said, "Hey, you Drew Pearson?"
Yeah.
No. People think I really look like the guy, but no, I'm from St. Paul.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, it was an experience that, you know, I can't live down. You know, after the game, after I scored the touchdown, I threw the ball over the scoreboard. And the only reason I did that, because I had this dream in my head, this vision in my head before I went to sleep the night before, that if I catch the game-winning touchdown in this game, I'm going to throw the ball into the stands. And I wanted to do that because it was so taboo to do that in the NFL at that time.
You got fined.
And the reason is the fine.
Yeah.
And the fine was a whopping $150.
Which was maybe a week's pay at that time, though, right?
And all my signing bonus was spent.
Exactly.
Yeah, so anyway, it went over the scoreboard because there was no stands there into the parking lot. And Roger and I recently were doing an autograph session together, a private signing. And this gentleman who was representing Roger brought the ball. He said, "This is the Hail Mary ball." He had letters to authenticate it.
Really?
Mike Lynn, the general manager, former general manager of the Vikings, authenticated it. So he would hardly even let me touch it, because if he did, I would have been at it.
Or maybe throw it again. You know, or throw it. And see, Drew, if you weren't a quarterback in high school, it wouldn't have traveled as far. It wouldn't have made it out to the parking lot. You might still have that ball.
And threw 3 touchdowns in the NFL, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah. You know, the way the NFL game has changed, obviously, with the passing and the numbers. And when you retired in 1983, or after the 83 season, you had 489 career receptions. You were 12th on the all-time list.
Wow.
I believe Charlie Taylor, the then Washington Redskins, had 689.
Yeah.
Now there are 14 receivers with over 1,000 receptions. So my point being, did that make it hard too, when these voters are going in now and they're saying all these, you know, really good players, but not Hall of Fame players, sitting there with 1,000 receptions, and they say, well, wait a minute, this guy's got half of their number.
Yeah.
Did that make it difficult, do you think, in terms of, as the years went on, they're looking at all these huge numbers that receivers are racking up today?
Without a doubt, because, you know, that's what they see initially. You know, that's what gets their attention. Those numbers.
Yeah.
Now look and see what he did. You know, you look at our numbers compared to that. No, I mean, like, wow, did he really play? You know, was he a starter?
489, was that one season? Or?
Right, exactly. But, you know, back when I was playing, there's 2 reasons the numbers for receivers weren't what they are today. Number one, it was a running back league. All right, you had great running backs in the league at that time. And number 2 is the reason it was a running back league, because the rules that they were allowing the defensive backs to use on the defensive side of the football.
They could beat the heck out of you all the way down the field.
They can beat you up all the way downfield. They can fake like they're going deep and come back and cut your legs out from under you. That's what? You know, how am I supposed to run a pass route? You know, you're trying to tackle me. Yeah. But, you know, in '79, they changed the rules, and that they call it the Mel Blount rule, because he was the one you couldn't get off the line of scrimmage.
Pittsburgh Steeler.
And since then, the numbers started going up.
Yeah.
You know, and the running numbers started going down. And so that's just the flow of the game. As the rules, the economics of the game changed the rules a lot. You know, people want to see that passing game nowadays. You know, if you caught 100 passes back in the day, man, you'd had like 3 seasons to do that. You know, and now they do it in 16 games.
When you and Roger get together socially or at a signing or what have you, you ever sit down and talk about, man, how good would we be today, Roger? What do you think the numbers would be if you were throwing it and I was catching it in today's NFL?
Yeah, we think about that, but then we also think about the governor to hold us back, Tom Landry. Okay,
oh, you don't think he'd have been?
No, I don't think he would have opened it up as well. But you know, Coach Landry is very innovative.
Right.
You know, I caught the Hail Mary from the shotgun formation, and that's what everybody's using nowadays. Yeah. But you know, he would not have let us open it up. But I know not only the rule changes, the way the game has gone because of that throwing the ball, but the quality of defensive backs as well has fallen off. You know, I'm not saying these guys aren't pro football players, but they're not Willie Brown, they're not Jimmy Johnson, they're not Lem Barney and guys like that, Hall of Famers that, you know, had to play with it during the time I was coming through in the 70s and early 80s.
Willie Brown, by the way, another free agent, Hall of Famer, Oakland Raiders. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that? Are they all going to offense because that's where the money is? Because now corners, defensive guys are getting paid as well.
I think the thing that kills the talent and quality of play in the game today is the salary cap more than anything. I mean, you know, you develop players, you draft them as a rookie, you keep them 4 years, and now you got to make the decision whether we keep them or let them go. You know, you developed him, you let him go, now he becomes an all-pro somewhere else, you know, because now it's starting to kick in. And then you can't keep players on the roster. You know, the rosters are constantly churning with players. And how do you have continuity in the most team sport of all the team sports where you need continuity? You don't have that. Continuity is not just running through reps every day with the players that are there, but running year in and year out. You know, it's a transient league, not just players on the move, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, head coaches. You know, for 11 years, I played with the same offense, the same coordinator, the same head coach, and it was all Tom Landry, you know? And so, you know, the quality once we stepped on the field was a little different than what you see because we knew our offense so well. We knew our adjustments on those offense, each and every play so well. We knew our teammates so well. We knew what Coach Landry was expecting, our goals, ways, means, and methods to achieve those goals so well. But nowadays, you know, everything is different. You know, whatever you ended up the season doesn't mean you're going to start the next season with those same players or even same coaches.
Let's go back to the Hall of Fame and walk us through that day. And there were many days where you didn't get that call, right? Every year you get the call to the Hall, and some guys get it, some guys don't. So you had experienced the disappointment of not getting it. Walk us through the day when Drew Pearson found out, hey, the fans knew you were a Hall of Famer, especially Cowboy fans knew you were a Hall of Famer. Roger knew you were a Hall of Famer. Everybody knew you were a Hall of Famer, but the Hall of Fame. So walk us through the day when they said, hey, guess what, Drew, you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it was a special day in my life and one I'll never forget. And the way it went down made it even more special.
And walk us through that, if you would.
You know, first of all, I get a letter from Rich Dalrymple, the PR guy with the Cowboys, addressed to Roger and myself. Of course, Roger was first, then me. Roger, then Roger and Drew. I respect that. I'm okay with that, okay? But so I get that letter and it says, Mr. Jones would like to meet with the both of you on January 25th at his office. And Rich said he doesn't know what it has to do with, but he thinks it might have to do with something with real estate. And maybe the Hail Mary, because it was just the 45th anniversary of the Hail Mary catch. So I'm thinking, wow, okay, maybe they're including me in one of these business deals, you know, because Roger and Jerry are involved in real estate deals, of course, the 12 right here at the Star. And so I thought it might be something in that regard. So I get to the Star and Roger and I happen to pull in at the same time. We walk in and normally, babe, you know, quarterback and receiver, we could read each other. I couldn't read anything from Roger, no telepathy or nothing. I couldn't pick up anything and he wasn't giving away anything.
Oh, I love it. Love
So
it.
we walk in and Rich meets us. We take us in the room where Mr. Jones is. We sit down and meet with him. I go to sit down over here. Then he says, no, Drew, you sit over here. I didn't pay no attention to that. No big deal. Maybe he just, I don't know. But anyway, they're talking and I'm like, what am I doing here? They ain't mentioned me or nothing.
Something's not feeling right.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. The next thing you know, there's a knock on the door. And Mr. Jones says, Drew, go answer the door. And I said, okay. And I go answer the door and Banner open it up. Man, the biggest man in the world next to two tall Jones I ever seen in my life, David Baker.
Yep.
And he filled up the door well. He had a bright green jacket where you really couldn't miss him.
Yeah.
And so when
So
he
the minute
came
you
in,
opened it, did you know?
well, he had cameras behind him, okay? So I knew it had to be something good.
Right.
Because if he came to tell me bad news,
Well, no,
I don't
no.
think they would want to videotape my reaction.
Then
to
they
that.
would have had security behind him, Drew.
Right. So he told me, stuck his hand out and said, I'd like to welcome you as the new senior member to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And that's when I started, And at that moment, when you hear that, babe, it's like a flashback. You start thinking about when you were a kid coming through.
Yeah.
All the things you came through, all of a sudden it's like bam, 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 clips in your mind happening. And then, I look over there and Jerry's grinning and Roger's grinning and, I'm a little upset with my quarterback for not telling me, but it's okay. It's the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
I'll forgive you.
That's great.
But then Mr. Baker said, you can't tell anybody.
Wow.
This is January 25th. You know when the Super Bowl was, okay? First weekend in February.
Wow.
So you had to hold it in that long. And after he told me, babe, my jaws went like that. Because they were bursting to tell somebody.
Well, the minute you saw him, you probably, okay, I gotta call my sister, I gotta call this.
Oh yeah, you're thinking who to tell first and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and the old saying, of course, is the only way three people can keep a secret is if two of them are dead.
Right, there you go. But I did have to tell my daughters and my sister, and they kept it quiet.
Yeah.
But not only me, but the whole class had to do the same thing because the COVID, he went and knocked on every door of every finalist and told them they're in and told them the same thing.
Yeah.
And did you hear anybody leak any information? Did you see anything out there?
I did not.
No.
Which upsets me, Drew. Why didn't you call me and say, hey, babe,
I
know he said don't tell anyone, but I want to tell you.
I was even interviewed by a couple sports writers that I know very well.
Yeah.
And I told them, no, you know anything? No. But then I couldn't do it, babe. I called them back.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, right.
I said, you can't tell anybody, but I'm going to let you know because you're a good friend. I'm in.
That's great.
So, but keep it a secret. And we did until they were able to announce it. And that just shows you the quality, character, and integrity of the class that I'm going in with. 3 first ballot guys, okay? Woodson, Manning, and Calvin Johnson. Alpha Nectar made the Pro Bowl 9 times, All Pro 6 times, And John Lynch. John Lynch was told 7 times as a finalist, no.
Right.
Now he gets in, and the integrity he showed throughout that whole process. Tom Flores, the great coach for the Raiders, and even Bill Nunn, the contributor side. So it's a great class, and I'm proud of the class I'm going in with.
All right. Well, Drew, we certainly appreciate your time here today. Congratulations to you. As we sit here today, you've been selected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But you will very, very soon be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
My speech will be the final nail in that coffin.
Yeah. And the best thing is, I'll never forget, I was up there when former Dallas Cowboy Rayfield Wright went in, and he was selected at that time. I was up covering the Super Bowl, and of course, that's when they would announce it. COVID changed a few things this year, obviously. And he signed his book for me. And it was the first time he put Rayfield Wright. What do you think was underneath it?
H-O-F.
H-O-F.
What
and
year?
He said, babe, that's the first. Yeah. And so pretty soon.
I'm doing it now.
You are doing H-O-F. Okay,
Why wait? I got it cleared. All right, got it cleared from the committee. It's okay to do it.
That's
and
awesome.
then I asked them, how do you do it? Because at first I was writing H-O-F 2021. They said, no, Drew, H-O-F possibly 21.
Got it.
That's
Very
how
good.
you do it.
Well, Drew, again, thank you.
Right.
Thank you for joining us. I don't know if the $150 signing bonus you got to walk away with this, but
That's
it's a
pretty,
beautiful,
though.
beautiful little car here.
That's pretty.
We invite everybody to come up. We're at the Lincoln.
That's a wide receiver's car.
That is, yes, it is.
Absolutely.
We're at the Lincoln Experience Center at the Star. Come by the showroom here. Now, Drew, they also have another showroom in Newport Beach, California. So I say we take this show on the road to Newport Beach
All right,
for the next one.
Let's do that.
Deal.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's go.
Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it.
Thank
And
you, babe.
congratulations again.
All right, thank
awesome.
you. Hood, hood.